Welcome to Let's Talk Nation. I'm your man Rod Love, and hey, we have a special guest for you this evening. And boy, I tell you, I am so overjoyed to have you join us, Miss Driver. And you know what? Let me not mess up the introduction because I'm just so excited about the things that you're doing. I have Miss Driver with us this evening, and Miss Driver is it President CEO of S&D S&D Enterprises CDC. Now, the name might be long, but wait till y'all hear about what this driver is doing, which I think is incredible. It's incredible. I'm also surprised that based on what you're doing and how you've been able to expand it, the government isn't in a supporting arm. But y'all will hear a lot about that a little later. But man, if you would tell us, and me and Doc was messing with you a little earlier because Doc thought you was homegrown. But you're a Mississippi girl. Yes. But not Biloxi. What's the name of it again? Moss Point and Pascagoula. Hey, Doc. Now it sounded like you knew where that was, but Doc has been a military man, so he may know. Military's there. Military's there. So that's how he knows. See, yeah. Doc, did you know where that was?
Pascagoula.
Yeah.
That's south. That's south Mississippi.
On the Gulf Coast.
Yep. That's where
Down
the
there where
marshes.
grew up.
Marshes.
Okay. Hey, see, but you know what? We're glad to have you because of the work that you're doing is so incredible. And I would not do this justice if I didn't just kind of lay out as much as I could possibly lay out. Your story is fascinating,
Thank you.
and your story is one that when I met you, I told you, man, we gotta be able to tell your story. So I don't know where you want to begin, but where I kind of came in at was we got into a conversation. We start talking about the houses that you have that you provide homeless, you provide for returning citizens, and better. What I mean, come on, you cannot be doing all of this. You cannot be doing all this on your own. And I say that a little bit with a little jig to you because it's incredible that you're doing it. But with the amount of need that's out there in the community, I'm just surprised that the engagement from local government, philanthropic, I'm sure are waiting to hear about what you're doing because you got bricks and mortar. You're housing people, and it's making a difference. When you talk about the need, particularly in Orange County, and
Yes.
are all your homes located in Orange County?
All of them are in Orange County.
What?
Yes. Central Florida.
Okay, how many of them?
13.
Doc, do you hear this?
13.
13.
So what is your maximum capacity of because some of your homes have more bedrooms than others?
That is correct. It's just based on the layout of the house, 3 to 7 bedrooms.
So out of 13 homes, what is the maximum capacity you can house?
The max capacity that we have in a house would be 12.
Okay, but that's in a house, but you got 13 of them spread around.
They all spread around. That's correct.
So what else? Well, no, let's tell your story. I mean, I think we need to kind of hit rewind a little bit and tell people. And remember when I met you, I told you, I said, you got no problem with telling people your whole story.
Oh, I have no problem.
So I don't know, where do we begin?
You want from childhood or you want from my...
I you know what? I wish this show was that long, but I'm gonna do a little fast forward because when I met you, you told me about your homes, but then you also told me something else interesting about you. And for those of you who are watching this and you hear that Miss Driver is providing a place for returning citizens as well, I think that's where we need to start.
Let's start there.
How did you connect with that?
Well, again, my name is Sharon Daniels Driver, and I too am a returning citizen. Once sentenced to 20 years in Department of Correction, was able to help assist in writing my own appeal to give back 15 of those years. And while doing so, the best time of my life was spent in incarceration, allowing me the time to reconnect to my father, realize what my purpose driven was in this life. And so I started writing.
I got to back up. When you say reconnect with your father,
Christ himself.
Okay.
Father died, yes.
Hey, Doc, you gotta pull out the details, right?
Yeah. You know what? That's fascinating. I want to. I don't. If you want to share, I would love to know your circumstances behind you becoming incarcerated.
I was charged with racketeering. Worked in the it was still nonprofit, but I worked as a chief executive officer for an organization that worked with Agency for Persons with Disability. So I've always been in the sector of nurturing or caring for someone. And lo and behold, they wanted to say we did this and couldn't prove it. And so when they dropped those charges and called it racketeering, which carries, a lot of time. And here I am today, successfully.
So what?
Go ahead, Doc.
What was it? A situation of them actually finding something, or they insinuated it was something?
Insinuating, and what they tried to say we did, they couldn't really prove. And so when they couldn't prove it, of course, when two or more people are actively committing a crime together.
Oh, that's where
racketeering comes from.
So they got you for conspiracy, that RICO.
That's
so
correct.
Yeah, and yeah, I can tell you some stuff about RICO.
But here's the other part that I understand. You wrote your own appeal.
That's correct.
Having no law background.
No, just knowledge of knowing how to read and write.
Boy, and that goes back when your mom and them used to tell you, you better learn how to read and write.
Reading and writing is fundamental.
Well, necessity is the mother of invention. That's that. Wow, I'm impressed.
So you wrote your own appeal, and I'm sorry, Doc, but also you mentioned to me you submitted it. You had 3 days left.
I was. So the way it went, when I was sentenced to prison and left to go off to prison, walking back from classification, being told that my EOS date would be August the 27th of 2029. That's when it really hit me. And so, they say you have that out-of-body experience. I had it because I couldn't imagine me sitting in prison for 20 years for something that we really didn't do. But why am I being punished so harshly? And so, like I said, started writing and went back into that dorm, fell asleep after just really relinquishing myself back over to Christ and saying, God, okay, you have my attention now. Whatever you're trying to say to me or whatever you're trying to get through to me, I'm listening. And went to sleep, had that dream. And when I woke up, I just got right to writing and staying to myself, really trying to grasp what I needed to do to get myself out of this situation. And writing is what it was.
So did you win your appeal?
Of course, I gave back 15 years.
No, we don't hear that every day.
No.
We don't hear that every day.
So, thank God. Sometimes we run into those situations and it is God. It's nothing but God. Because sometimes God just gotta jerk you by the neck.
So
there's a scripture that says, snatch them from the burning. And a lot of people are offended when that's utilized, but sometimes you need a snatching. We want to go out there and it be all soft and stuff, but scripture says snatch them from the burning, meaning that instantly I rescue from the harm, even if you don't know the circumstances. So we're seeing God and Rod, to tell you, I am not a returning citizens fan. Okay, that for a litany of reasons, because I have experience on that side of the lifestyle, and I know what kind of people usually are trying to finesse that returning citizen label. Okay, but your story is definitely one of inspiration and necessity. Because it number one, it really exposes the hypocrisy of the criminal justice system, that because they couldn't.
And Doc, you didn't hear that part, Doc. You didn't hear that part, and that was what justice system. But what I want to hear more from you about is, and see what a lot of people don't get. You don't get the off the camera conversation that takes place, and I'm just so fascinated about how you had to lift yourself up. So take us on from that point.
So as a returning citizen, I did not have an S&D Enterprises to come home to. And I had no one there, telling me, here, when you get out of prison, go to this place, go to that place. There's help for you to do this. There's help for you to do that. You can go here and get this, or you can go here and get that. So that it was not there. But while I was in prison, a lot of women were leaving and coming back And I started asking the question.
So you saw a lot of the same ones
That's
that were
right.
there when you got there. They leave
And
they're
come
coming
back while I was still doing my 5-year bid, my little
Wow.
short sentence. Yes.
Wow.
And so the response that I got from a lot of women were, there's no help out there. And I said, well, what do you mean there's no help out there? They said, well, there's no help out there. There's men programs, but there's nothing for women. And I found that to be true coming home. Yes, I found it to be very true. When I started S&D Enterprises, the only thing I knew about that was remotely helping returning citizens was Operation New Hope, and they were in Jacksonville.
In Jacksonville.
That's correct. They were in Jacksonville, and I had the opportunity to meet them, the founder and CEO of Jacksonville, while I was at an event that Mr. Demings was having in the park.
This is Demings, who
Demings.
happens to be the mayor.
That's
was he the mayor at the time, or was he the
Yes,
sheriff?
He was the mayor at the time.
Okay,
Still the mayor at the time. And so I was afforded the opportunity to meet the CEO and some people from Operation New Hope. And when I got to sharing with them what I was trying to do here in Central Florida, we connected.
Okay.
And so I actually, was the first one to help assist them into coming to the Orlando area.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so you got your arms around this, and I'm gonna kind of fast forward because I was enjoying listening to you bring me up to speed. I mean, so talk to people about that not-for-profit that you envision having, but the challenges of that. And I love the part about your experience being a sous chef.
Right. So when I came home from prison, I took a job. Now I'm a 6-figure salary woman, but coming out of prison, once you become a convicted felon, I'm stating this to be factual. There's no jobs out here for us. You have to create your own pathway. And so I did not know how to ride a bus. I'd never ridden a bus before. So I was lost.
Had to learn a whole lot of things.
I had to learn a lot of things. And let me tell you one of the things, I'll never forget being late getting to the Goodwill. That's where I came across a connection at Goodwill, looking for a job. And so every application that I would apply for or go online, they always ask the question, are you a convicted felon? And so that led me down a pipe hole of nowhere. And got myself licensed, bonded through Career Source, things of that nature. Long story short, I took that job. I made it to the employment event at Salvation Army at the Goodwill, and I was late because I did not know how to ride the bus. But when I got there was one company still there packing it up. And I said, listen, y'all don't even understand. I know I'm late, but I'm desperate right now. I need a job. And the lady told me, she says, well, ma'am, it's already over. I said, well, there's no one here for me to talk to. And she said, well, there's one company back there. It was Clean Tech Outsourcing.
Okay.
That was the name of the company. And the lady said, well, ma'am, the only thing I have right now is a prep situation at the resort.
Man.
Yep. And I said, well, I don't care what it is. I'll take it.
You need a job.
I needed a job. She said, well, it's $10 an hour. I swallowed that golf ball and said, I'll take it.
What did you tell me about Pride?
Pride, PRIDE, is the perfect reason I destroyed everything, and my pride was not even with me at the time.
Man, you hear that, Doc?
Yeah, I'm still in it.
You still in it?
Yeah, I'm still in that.
Yeah, so I let go of that pride a long time ago. I started sharing my testimony, my childhood testimony. So a lot of the women that I spoke with in prison had a lot of same traumas that I had, being sexually molested as a child and growing up, coming up through the system, being displaced or, being looked at, differently. And so I could connect to those women. I related to those women. And so, and I wouldn't say I'm not a Bible thumper or anything like that, but I'm spiritually connected to God.
Man. You know what? Let me do this real quick because I'm just impressed with your story, and I know it's more to come. But those of you who are tuned in to Let's Talk Nation, if you want to add to this conversation, feel free to dial in. That phone number is area code 407-921-7233. 6195. We have Miss Driver with us from S&D Enterprises, CDC. And boy, your story, I mean, it's impressive, it's inspiring, and it's more to come. So I'm sorry, I had to make that commercial break right there. But so,
yeah, you interrupted her flow. Let's hear some more.
hey, come on, man. We gotta also let the community know that this is interactive.
I love this. I love this because, Rod, how many times have you and I encountered people who had under certain situations are looking for a handout instead of creating their own opportunities.
Exactly.
And this young lady, I'm a fan. I'm gonna be a big fan of yours from now on.
Hey, but Doc, you haven't heard the end of being a sous chef yet.
That's right. That's right.
Now, I want to hear more about, you told me about the story about being a sous chef and the not-for-profit. Now, I think people really need to hear that because people see this and they see potentially what they think is the end product. They see these suits, but they don't realize we done heard a lot of no's.
That's right.
More than you can imagine.
Yeah.
So
I took a lot of no's and a lot of doors closing, a lot of returning citizens coming home from prison. A lot of people already stereotype us as, oh, we're never going to change. We're going to go right back out. We're going to do the same old things. And so society often resentences us coming home. So we've already been sentenced, done our time, but we get a second sentence coming out of prison from society. And so I often say, I've served 2 sentences, one in prison and one here in society. But I took all the no's that came my way as my next opportunity. And so no matter what the naysayers may have said, or those that said, oh, she's going to do the same old thing, she'll be back, and, all those things, I've learned how to turn deaf ears on those things.
Yeah.
And I've learned how to motivate myself to keep going, because what I'm doing, I want people to see that, no, it's not easy for me.
Right.
But it's worth it if you get up every day, putting one foot in front of the other, striving to be better, striving to have more, striving to give back. Because that's what my thing is. I'm all about giving back. The things that I lacked as a kid, or, the things that happened to me as a child, I want to prevent that happening to the next Sharons or the next Karens or the Keishas, the Lisas, and the Tanyas. I want to prevent that from happening to young girls. So I also wrote another nonprofit organization while sitting in incarceration. It's called SHOP, because I will tell you something. And when I tell you I don't have no pride and I have no shame about who I am, the things that I've gone through in life, I developed, they call it kleptonism.
Kleptonism, okay.
Kleptonism. And that was a virtual shoplifter. And I used to walk to school after being bothered by my predator, and would go into the little 7-Eleven store and take candy. I would take candy. And so that developed that kleptonism in me. And so through my adulthood, adulthood, on into, that never sent me to prison, but it was an epidemic.
Yeah.
It was an addiction that I had, and it was hard to get control of it. And so I'll never forget, I developed seizures, still wouldn't stop me from taking anything. And because so much had been taken from me as a child, that's where that kleptonism came in.
So let me ask this question. We're hearing about your trauma. And one of the things, and I'm going to just say, in particular, in the Black community, we don't know what we don't know. How did you understand or navigate to get help?
In prison.
Wow.
In prison. And I'm going to tell you this, and people are going to say, oh, wow, she's crazy. But I had to forgive.
People are not going to say you're crazy, because that's something that, believe it or not, that's the first step in getting some help.
It was the first step. So I had to forgive. I had to forgive a few people. And, but yes, forgiveness was what started my salvation.
Yeah.
Forgiveness is what started my salvation. And once I did that, I started opening up. I started going to counseling. When I came home from prison, I took my own self and got signed up to go to counseling, so I could talk about what had happened to me as a child and how my life had just kind of like spiraled out of control. But I wanted some control of it.
So when you talk about counseling, I'm going somewhere with this. You went and got Professional.
Professional
See,
counseling, yes.
and I'm glad you. What I want to point out with that is, and Doc and I and Attorney Greg Jackson, who's co-host here as well, we normally have conversations about where we go to get help.
Mhm.
And I have a lot of friends that are pastors,
Mhm.
and they are hearing this, and this is not the first time they're gonna hear this. But sometimes when we go to our pastors are good at a certain kind of counseling.
Right.
But when it's over their head and they acknowledge it is over their head, that's when the referral to professional help.
That's right.
And I'm glad you got.
I had to, because I have 3 amazing, beautiful children, and I now have 7 grandchildren. In order for me to be the woman that I am today, I knew that if I wanted to continue to be the mother that they looked up to, that they loved unconditionally, and that's another thing. My children, they've never looked at me sideways or ever judged me, because they just know I'm mama.
Yeah.
But more importantly, they know I'll drown a rock about it. But yeah, so I had to get the significant help that I needed for Sharon.
Good.
And it wasn't about doing it for no one else. I had to do it for
Do
me,
it for yourself.
because I had gone through relationships, and I wonder why sometimes they didn't work, because that anger that I had up in me for a man that did those things to me, I had to forgive.
Yeah.
And in order to put one foot in front of the other and live out my purpose, I had to start forgiving people.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been doing.
So now I'm gonna guide you down this path. You're a sous chef now. You're working for this organization that contracts with Disney.
Mm-hmm.
And one day, I mean, I think you told me it might have been Mother's Day.
Yeah, it was Mother's Day. I wanted to go to church, and I came into the office. And let me go back up though. When I applied for, glory be to God, applied for my 501c3, and there's several people that I could thank for navigating me, toward S&D Enterprises and helping me make this thing come to fruition. My boss that I work for turned me down for a day off on Mother's Day. And I was like, "You sure?"
Wanted to go to church with your
I wanted
mom.
to go to church. I wanted to go to church with my mother, because that's who I lived with when I came home from prison.
Okay.
And I wanted to go to church with her. And he told me no, he needed me to work. And Wednesday, I was like, "You sure?" And he said, "No." Well, go home. And what was in the mailbox? But that 501c3 was in that mailbox on that Thursday.
Man, but nothing but God.
One nothing but God. And so I could be a little smart butt sometimes. So I got to work that Friday, and I say, "You sure you don't want to give me that day off?" He was like, "I'm sure." I said, "Well, here's my resignation." And I slid that 501c3 certificate right over to him. And he said, "Well, what is this?" I said, "Go ahead, open it up. This is my resignation."
Something that, did they encourage you that you were going to get it, or did they discourage you?
He was the very person that said, "Oh, you're not going to get that."
The person that gave you the energy to
That's
get it.
right. The person that gave me the energy to get it
Man.
was my,
Doctor, you hear this?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now you go to the mailbox, you get your 501c3 that's been approved.
Yes.
Then you go to work on that Friday.
Yes.
And in the back of your head, you're sitting back saying, okay,
This was all I had been waiting on,
yeah,
to step out and do what the vision that God had given me.
fulfill your purpose.
Fulfill my purpose. And that's all I had been waiting on. And it had finally come. But then what happened after that? In 2019, the pandemic, the world shut down from the pandemic.
And I like that part of the story too, because then you navigated back from whence you come,
Uh-huh.
the sous chef part.
That's right. So, Blessed Ann Turner, she came to me one day. She said, "Girl, you know how to cook? Start cooking these lunches and going and taking them around." And so myself and my sweet dear friend Brenda Collins worked right alongside of me, and we started cooking them lunches. And I went back to the same $10 an hour that I started with, to selling those lunches for $10.
But you established some real good relationships too then.
I
Too.
did.
And
Because I had been hitting the streets, letting people know, talking about the vision.
a couple of those businesses that you mentioned, and normally we'll make folk, we won't let you announce those businesses because we're not getting any commercial endorsement, but those are some good businesses. And I want you to go ahead and say who they were, because they played a significant role in how you navigated towards your success too.
Yes. Southeast Steel, Navy Federal Credit Union. These were places that I took lunches
Man.
to that they would buy on a regular basis.
Supporting you.
Chevrolet dealer, Kia dealerships, all up and down Highway 50. Those people, beauty salons, people that were in daycares. Yes, they definitely supported. And we used to started out with 40 lunches
Yeah.
and sold them all
So and this
So
was on a regular
on
basis.
a regular basis, daily, 5 days a week.
Well, there was a story, and see, I focus here. There was a story about the Kia dealership, and there was also a story about a gentleman he was part of, I guess, the crowd that you were serving lunches to, and you got laser focused on him because he said something that stuck out to you.
Yes, Mr. Dotto, shout out to Dotto Construction. He was the first person to give me the opportunity to have a transition home. And he happened to be in Southeast Steel ordering appliances for some of his rental properties.
I love the story about you calling him. But see, that shows persistence. Anybody who's watching this, don't get discouraged after you try something one time, two times. No, don't get discouraged, because when you told me this story.
Yeah, Mr. Dotto did not know me from a can of paint. And so when, we exchanged cards and numbers at Southeast Steel that day, I immediately the next day started reaching out to him. But, like I said, he didn't know me from a can of paint. And he was like, all he sees is this woman, trying to get a house. And so he dodged me for about 45 days. And then one day I was taking my mother to the doctor, and the Holy Spirit come right over me again and said, hey, call him again, but just use your mom's number.
Use your mom's phone.
Use your mom's phone. And I did. I said, listen, hey, I know you don't know me, and I don't know you, but if you give me 5 minutes of your time, 3 minutes already go, and I promise you, I'll make those 2 minutes worthwhile. And he's like, okay, well, come on. The first place I went to was over on Cottage Hill. And I met him there, and I had my little proposal, showed it to him, told him who I was, and I gave him my rundown about being a returning citizen and the program that I had written out, what I wanted to do. And he was like, okay, I'm gonna give you a shot.
Yeah.
And didn't ask for $1 up front.
No.
Nope. Handed me the keys. And the house that I went to at first was really not prepared or ready to do anything with. He says, but I'm gonna give you one more, a little step further, and sent me over onto Tacoma. And I went there, and it was further along than the one that he was renovating.
And it was a larger section, and you told him something.
Yeah, it's like, now I don't need a den. I need a house with rooms. If you could take this den and turn it into 2 bedrooms, I'll be happy. And he did that for me.
Man.
And I used one, so I had a house that had 4 bedrooms, and I turned the other room into my office.
Man.
And that's how I initially got started. And when I had my grand opening, now don't forget now, I started my company in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And I did the footwork, and I did the networking and the administrative part of putting S&D Enterprises together. But I didn't open my first house until 2022.
Wow. And I got to tell you, listening to your story, I remember when I was Deputy Secretary of the State Department of Juvenile Justice, and we were about to give Mr. Harris Rosen of Rosen Hotels an award, and God bless, rest in peace. But I had the I call it privilege to be backstage with him, and we had about 15 minutes, and we were just talking, and he started telling me the story about how he used to catch a tour bus up north, so that he could save his hotel when he had one hotel, which was a motel at the time. Listening to you tell your story about how persistence, perseverance, it sounds so similar to him. You don't go for that first no, that second no. It's about 100 no's, and you keep going.
200 no's.
And you keep going.
Yeah.
And so you did that, and I got to continue to kind of hit the fast forward button. But so now you meet this guy, he gives you your first opportunity.
Mm-hmm, he does.
What happens from there?
At my grand opening of that first house he gave me, he could not believe the dynamics of all the people that had came out. And I had a lot of family support that showed up. My son, one from LA and one from Texas at the time, my daughter, my mom, my sisters and brothers, just family, friends, church people, commissioners,
Mhm.
pastors, you name it. Even Dotto and the realtor that he was partnering with at the
Now,
time.
you're gonna make me preach. You're gonna make me preach. Now,
So
what does
all
the
of
word say? Your gift will what? Your gift will make room.
yes,
Your gift will make room. But too many people scared to use that gift. They don't trust God enough to use that
I
gift.
trust him. I trust him
And
wholeheartedly.
it shows. It
Yes,
shows.
I
I
trust him,
mean, you
and
know,
not just in opening the transition homes, but I thank God. And people say, "Oh, wow, your childhood was so terrible." Yeah, it may have been, but I hold my hand up high when I say I thank God for using me,
Man,
to be able, because He created me differently than He created others, because He made me fearfully and wonderfully made.
man.
And
see
that
one of
is,
the
Explain that, because
I'm gonna tell you, because some of the things that I've gone through in my life, the devil tried to take me out a long time ago. But God had something in store for me. And I truly believe that I'm still walking and talking, and I'm still standing, and I'm still making progress, and I'm still persevering, and I'm still
yeah,
being prosperous, because He still has His hand over me.
and that's the only way. But so now let me break this down, because Rod Love is a businessman too, and here's what a lot of people don't understand. When you imagine business, and Doc understands this totally too, you take that spreadsheet before you even open up your doors, and you're doing your forecast. Was the impact of need immediate? Because sometimes people can put numbers on paper.
You want, yes, listen. So, and I gotta give a shout out to the women that I opened that first house with.
Uh-huh.
I still have 2 of those residents to this day.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So the need has been great from house 1 to 13.
To 13.
The need has still been great. Now we've opened a total of 15 homes, but we have lost 2 over time. But we still have 13
And that's
homes.
business
That
sometimes.
is business, definitely. But yes,
Man, so you haven't. I mean,
the need is still
the need
there.
is great.
And we get calls daily, and not just from returning citizens, but the homeless coalition, um, domestic violence situations, Orange, Seminole, Osceola County jails. So yeah, we are affiliated.
So
with,
you actually provide housing for out of county individuals as well.
Absolutely.
Okay, here's what I want to do before, because this story is just so good that I could have glossed over it. But I want you to look at that red light on that camera and let people know how they can get in touch with you if they need your services.
You may reach Sharon Driver at S&D Enterprises Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. You may reach me at 1310 West Colonial Drive, Suite number 8, Orlando, Florida, 32804. Or you can reach me by phone, 407-995-4895. That is my cell phone. My office number is 407-341-9431. And I will tell you why I give my cell phone number. It's because it is linked to the state of Florida.
Linked to the state of Florida, huh?
It's linked to the state of Florida. And it rings. And I constantly serve the people that are in need. And I've started getting calls from people, not just here in Central Florida, but other parts of Florida.
Okay, so let me ask this question. I mean, as a provider, some of the things that people want to know is if they're desperately in need of a place to stay, do you have a waiting list? Is there immediate placement? What's the eligibility for it?
There is a waiting list, and I have some notes here that we do have a waiting list, and I'll tell you why. There's a cost to coming into the program. We have an administrative fee. We have there's 2 expenses. You can either share a room with one other person, or you can get a private room.
Okay.
For yourself.
And these are the things that people need to know.
That's right.
As they're navigating this. And again, I mean, I'm just so amazed that you have.
So what we offer are affordable residences, fully furnished semi-private rooms with TVs, shared kitchen and common area, utilities and Wi-Fi is included. On-site washers and dryers in most of our residences, and we do weekly check-ins. We help with hygiene. Some of our houses have 24/7 surveillances,
Okay.
depending on the area that they're in. And we are a drug and alcohol-free environment, and most of our homes are in quiet neighborhoods, but we help you navigate several things that you will need.
Some of the things, and I'm glad you brought that up. I was asking you about different organizations that you partner with from a support or wraparound services perspective. You care to share that with?
Yeah, so we do for like their IDs and things like that when they come home. We partner with Our Dignity. I partner with Aspire, Orlando Health, Christian Service Center, Coalition for the Homeless. Who else is
So
there?
you mental health, Aspire does it. Okay.
Yes. Because
I got a question.
what-
Do you teach this?
I do train.
No. I mean, do you teach this to other people in the community how to do this?
Yes,
What
I do.
aspect? What aspect? See, Doc is talking about the business aspect
Yes, I
of
do.
the
I
house.
said I train.
Okay. So
I train.
Doc, I know you got some questions.
So how do you take part in this training?
It is a cost for my time and my
That's
teaching.
fine.
Yes, but it takes 30 days, and I
Okay.
ask to be with me, very closely for 30 days.
And so people that are
Okay,
interested in, go ahead, Doc.
People that are interested in learning how to do what I do.
So what is the cost?
We ain't gonna get into the cost right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is business.
Yeah, but you contact the driver.
You can call
Contact
me.
the
You can
driver.
call me.
If it's 3,500, if it's
Contact Ms.
5,000.
Driver. Contact Ms. Driver. She will do all of that. But the fact that
Oh.
you are hands-on
Yes.
with training people,
Yes.
that's. I mean, Doc
Listen,
and I, we
it's
were having
people-
the conversation because Doc is
It's
interested. He's
people
really
that
interested.
already do this, Rod, and they on Facebook. They got their platform set up, and they
Okay,
talk
that is
about
great,
their-
Doc. I'm glad for them, but they want to know they can call Ms. Driver.
So we do serve the general population, individuals in recovery, low-income individuals that may be coming through some form of resources, returning citizens, at-risk homelessness
Okay.
people, and veterans and others.
And I think I asked you this before. Is there any connectivity? And Doc is familiar. Doc, who am I talking about? That Desmond Meade.
Yeah.
Any tie-in?
Yeah,
with-
we've sat on some of the same talk shows or podcasts
Okay.
before, and I send people that way that need help with their fines, court costs, and things of that nature, as long as they're not on probation. Or
Let
something
me
like
ask
that.
this question, and this is something I know I'm surprised Doc hadn't asked it yet. From a business perspective, and this goes back maybe 10 years or so ago when sober houses were popping up, and you would have municipalities that would start creating different ordinance.
Mhm.
Have you experienced any?
Absolutely,
Okay.
yes. So I stay away from HOAs.
Okay.
I stay away from HOAs. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because people may not realize how hard it is out here for men and women to navigate getting their own homes, coming out of incarceration. Being a convicted felon, not having the proper credit or not even making enough money
Yeah.
is a struggle out here, because I was just fortunate to have not had bad credit when I went to prison and come home and my credit was still decent.
Mhm.
And that's how I was able to get my car
Okay.
and start from there. But I'll never forget when I got my first condo, stepping out to get my first condo, I had to pay 3 times the deposit.
And it's going to get worse.
And
And
it's
it's going to get worse whether you have a past history or not, because just looking at the marketplace,
That's
it's going to get worse. And I mean, people just better be prepared.
the houses that we have for our residents don't come cheap. I mean, they just don't come cheap. And so my staff and we often say, people look at what we do and they think we make this a flux of money, but that's not even the case.
Yeah.
Give us the fair market price for what we do, and let us be able to open up more homes to help more people, because the need is so great out there. And I love Doc wanting wanting me to train him to do this because we need more people out there.
That's an entrepreneur right there.
Yeah,
That's a business.
Listen, the whole thing is, Rod, no, I've been interested in this field for a long time, and I had last year I purchased a house and flipped it, and because of the market and stuff, I ended up having to sell it. I sold it at a loss, but it was just draining me. And you're right, when you want to position yourself, sometimes just for me the economics weren't that right in that moment, because had I been able to get my workers to work faster, I would have made my budget and made my money. And I was planning on taking that and go into this avenue because there's a real need for housing, shared housing. It's exploding all over the country.
It is.
And so it is a growth opportunity. And I'm like this. I'm about my people. I don't care who don't like it. Okay. I want to see us win. It ain't got nothing to do with me versus you or none of that. And Rod, I'll tell you.
I'm glad you said that. Because I don't have that crab mentality. I love to share, and I wish it was more people that had that mindset to share good news.
Yeah.
Not so much as good news, but information of something that you may know that could help somebody else.
That's it.
And I like to share it. So.
And what God has for you, He has for you. He's not going to take out of your mouth the gifts to somebody else. Nope. So you're going to make your money that God has earmarked for you to make your money, or your situation. That's not going to. I don't compete against other people. I lost that idea a long time ago. I'm not in competition.
That's exactly why I say I'm still. My head is still above water because God has provided the provision for me, and coming to me in a dream and telling me that this is your purpose. All you need to do is stay obedient to it. I gave you the vision. I will give you the provision. And that was the conversation that I had with my higher power.
See, here's the other beauty, and Doc and I talk about this too. You're espousing to individuals about the services that you provide through your homes, that you provide for homeless individuals, returning individuals, domestic violence victims. Here's the other part that you haven't mentioned that I'm going to give you your kudos for. As a businessman, and if my other partner was here, Attorney Greg Jackson, he'd be talking about that Republican in me. But here's the other thing that you do that you need to take credit for. You create jobs.
That's right. You
create jobs. And Doc, on that note, what I want to do is let's take a quick commercial break because we're going to have
we're up against, look at your clock.
No, but we're going to run it. We're going to run it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we're gonna take a commercial break, and we're gonna have.
All right. Well, hey, let's break right here and come into the other studio.
Okay.
Can we do that?
Because I don't think we. Yeah, we can do that. We can do that. I'm with you.
Okay.
I'm with you.
All right. So let us dip out of here.
But what? How much time you need, Doc?
Huh?
How much time you need?
Just about a minute. And we'll switch over.
We'll tell you what. Run 2 commercials and then we'll be ready.
I can't run commercials. I can go out. I'm an intro and out.
Go ahead and go out. Go out.
Okay.
Hey, for those of you who tuned in, I do want to say this. We're going to go to segment number 2 with Miss Driver, and I hope you are taking down this information because it may not help you, but it's going to help somebody you know. And so once again, this is segment 1, and I got to tell you this though, because I'm looking at Doc. You think I'm a entrepreneur? That's a serial entrepreneur right there, and that's why. That's why he was like, "Oh, give me the price, because I'm ready to go." Hey, Doc, go ahead and let's sign off.
I'm gonna share my background. Rod didn't tell you everything about me, but I'm gonna.
When we come back from the sit down, join us for Let's Talk Nation. We'll be right back with segment number 2.